Jim, Matt, if y'all are ready, we got the first email question
Let's go.
of the night. Comes in from Rich. Rich has got hurricanes on his mind, Jim. I just moved to the area from Colorado, where obviously they do not have hurricanes. That's true. They do have avalanches. After talking to a few of my neighbors, I've already spooked about my basic homeowners insurance policy. Is there anything I need to do to beef it up before the arrival of hurricane season? Bud, Rich, I'll let you know we're kind of in the peak of hurricane season right now. Jim,
yes, we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's the anniversary, everything.
Yeah, this next 2 weeks, I think technically is the peak, middle of August to middle of September, with the peak being around Labor Day. And so everybody should do this, whether you're from Colorado or otherwise.
Right.
Make sure your coverage is adequate. You know, there's a lot of change in property values, you know, that can occur over a few years. Make sure you have enough coverage. A lot of people have coverage, maybe they hadn't increased it in 10 years. If that's the case, your house is probably worth a lot more today than it was 10 years ago. Another problem that we see a lot of times in claims is that you insure your contents, but then at the end of the case, or if you have a hurricane claim, you have to have a list of your contents.
Right.
Very hard to do once it's all gone.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You know, it's very hard to do. So make a list of your contents. Photograph the contents of the interior of your house before a storm hits. It's much easier to try to put together that contents list to make a claim before the fact than after your things are gone, and try to remember what you had in each room and a value on each thing, that sort of things. Those are the two things I would look at, and also make sure you've got, if you need it, flood coverage.
Oh yeah, and Matt, I guess if you are going to fight the insurance company, it helps to have a list. Yep.
It does indeed. And first of all, listen. Also, you know, make sure you know where your policy is. The actual policy itself.
Right.
You know, try to grab it, try to find it, because as you know, after tragedy strikes, the damage hits, you're going to have a hard time finding it. Number one. Number two. Also, not a bad time to talk to your agent, right? To make sure you understand your policy.
Right.
Do you have wind coverage? Do you have water coverage? How much coverage? What's your deductible? Those kind of things. Now you can't get new coverage when there's a named storm in the Gulf, but you know, you still, if not a named storm, you may be able to tweak your coverages still, as in getting more coverage. So it's a good time to kind of handle this thing before it's too late.
Right. And
yeah, a lot of people don't realize that you can't, once it's in the Gulf and the name, they won't write coverage.
That's right. Too much risk.